Good day, everyone. I am Lorraine Angel Diveray, taking up the Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management and the leader of this group. For today, we're going to tackle about the biodiversity and the healthy society. If you want to know on how this two relates to each other, then just keep on watching.
Biodiversity is the variety of all living things and their interactions. Pag sinabi nilang all living things, ang pumapasok agad sa isip natin ay humans, animals, plants. But kasama na rin dyan ang fungi, microorganisms like bacteria na bumubuo sa environment natin to become a natural world. Biodiversity comes from two words, biological, na ang ibig sabihin ay biology or living organisms, and diversity means a range of different things or variety. So, biodiversity supports everything in our nature that we need to survive, like food, clean water, medicine, that support us human to survive in our daily life. Levels of biodiversity. Biodiversity is usually explored at three levels. 1. Genetic variation within a population. 2. The variety of species in a community. And the variety of communities in an ecosystem. These three levels work together to create the complexity of life on Earth. So, biodiversity change over time as extinction occurs and new species evolve. So, according sa mga scientists, meron daw three levels of diversity. So, unahin natin ang genetic diversity. Genetic diversity refers to uniqueness of every human being. It is a measure of the amount of genetic information present in a population and is influenced by factors such as mutation, recombination, and gene flow. So, sa madaling salita, ang gene diversity ay ang gene-based adaptability ng isang species. It is a way for populations to adapt changing environments. Kaya exclusive yon sa ating mga tao. So, sa mga magtatanong kung bakit exclusive ito, ang human kasi kahit saan mo ilagay, nakakapag-adapt agad ito. But, it doesn't mean exclusive sa ating mga human ang gene-based adaptability. So, ang pinapoint out ko sa ibang species is yung mga animals, plants, fungi, bacteria. Yung mga species na yon namumuhay sa ibang environment, unlike sa atin, na makakapag-adjust yung katawan natin sa malamig na temperature at makakapag-adapt sa mainit na temperature kung mainit yung panahon. In terms of adaptability sa environment, mas mataas tayo, that's why exclusive sa atin yon, unlike sa iba na mag-a-adapt lang sa iisang environment. Another example, ang isda. Mamamatay sila pag wala sila sa dagat. Why? Kasi they need water to live. That's why nag-a-adapt lang sila sa kung anong needs nila. That's what makes their genes made them. Species diversity refers to the variety of different species that exist within a particular ecosystem or on Earth as a whole. It is a measure of the richness and abundance of different types of organisms, including plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms. Species diversity is influenced by factors such as habitat availability, climate, and interactions between species. Pag sinabing species diversity, ito yung number or relative abundance of species found in a given biological organization. Kung gaano karami at kung ano ang kanya-kanya nilang group sa lugar na yon. Ecosystem diversity can be defined as the variety of different habitats, communities, and ecological processes. A biological community is defined by the species that occupy a particular area and the interactions between those species.
Ecosystem. Ecosystem is a community of group of living organisms that live in and interact with each other in a specific environment. It contains many different kinds of life, plants, animals, as well as weather, landscape, to form a bubble of life.
Example of ecosystem is a grassland. It is an ecosystem na hindi binubuo lamang ng damo. Nandyan ang iba't ibang klase ng halaman, mammals, insects, earthworms, and many tiny living things na nakatira sa lupa. Ecosystem has two factors, the biotic factors and the abiotic factors. Biotic factors, nandyan ang plants, animals, and other living organisms. Sa abiotic factors naman, nandyan ang rocks, temperature, and humidity, mga non-living organisms naman.
Biodiversity is essential for the process that support all life on Earth, including humans. Without a wide range of animals and plants and microorganisms, we cannot have the healthy ecosystems that we rely on to provide us with the air we breathe and the food we eat. And people also value nature of itself. Some aspects of biodiversity are instinctively widely valued by people, but the more we study the biodiversity, the more we see the importance of it. There are lots of ways that humans depend upon biodiversity, and it's vital for us to conserve it. Agriculture is also reliant upon invertebrates. They help to maintain the health of the soil crops grow in. Soil is teeming with microbes that are vital for liberating nutrients that plants need to grow, which are then also passed to us when we eat them. Life from the ocean provides the main source of animal protein for many people. Furthermore, many of our medicines, along with other complex chemicals that we use in our daily lives, such as latex and rubber, also came from plants. Spending time in nature is increasingly understood to lead to improvements in people's physical and mental health. Simply having green spaces and trees in cities can also decrease hospital admissions, reduce stress, and lower blood pressure.
People depend on biodiversity in their daily lives in a ways that are not always apparent or appreciated. Human health ultimately depends upon ecosystem products and services, such as availability of fresh water, food, and fuel sources, which are requisite for good human health and productive livelihoods. That is why we need to preserve and conserve our ecosystem to maintain balance and support biodiversity. If yung ecosystem ay hindi na nami-meet yung ating social needs, also the time na that are biodiversity loss that can have significant direct human health impacts. And dahil nga sa pagbabago or pagka wala ng ating ecosystem, it may affect our livelihood, income, local migration, on occasion, and it can even cause a political conflict. Additional to that is biological diversity of microorganisms, flora and fauna provides extensive benefits for biological health and pharmacological sciences. Significant medical and pharmacological discoveries are made through greater understanding of the Earth's biodiversity. Loss in biodiversity may limit discovery of potential treatments for many diseases and health problems. There is growing concern about the health consequences of biodiversity loss. Biodiversity changes affect ecosystem functioning, and significant disruption of ecosystems can result in life-sustaining ecosystem goods and services. Biodiversity loss means that we are losing. Before discovery, many of nature's chemicals and genes of the kind that have already provided humankind with enormous health benefits. But as humans put increasing pressure on the planet, using and consuming more resources than before, we risk upsetting the balance of ecosystem and losing biodiversity. Three-quarters of the land-based environment and roughly 66% of the ocean environment have been significantly altered. More than a third of the world's land surface and nearly 75% of freshwater resources are now devoted to crop or livestock production. Climate change worsens the impact of other stressors on nature and our well-being. Humans have been overfished the oceans, cleared forests, polluted our water sources, and created a climate crisis. These actions are impacting biodiversity around the world, from the most remote locals to our own backyards. All these pressures adds up to a landscape that is quickly changing, with nature struggling to keep up.
Biodiversity risk. The extension of many species in a relatively short period of time is called a max extinction. Earth has experienced several max extinctions, each probably caused by a global change in the climate. It takes millions of years of biodiversity to rebound after a mass extinction. Biodiversity at risk. Current extinction. Scientists are warning that we are in the midst of another mass extinction. The rate of extinction is estimated to have increased by a multiple of 50 since 1800, with up to 25% of the species on Earth becoming extinct between 1800 and 2100. The current max extinction is different from those of the past because humans are the primary cause of the extinction. Threats to biodiversity. Number 1. Habitat loss and destruction. It can fragment ecosystem and can cause species extinction. Habitat loss is primarily, though not always human-caused, the clearing of land for farming, grazing, mining, drilling, and urbanization impact to 80% of global species who call the forest home.
Now we were going to talk about my assigned part, which is the alteration in ecosystem composition, overexploitation on biodiversity, pollution and contamination, and climate change. So first, we are going to alteration in ecosystem composition. So, alteration and sudden change either within species, group, or within the environment could begin to change entire ecosystems. Alteration in ecosystem are critical factors contributing to species and habitat loss. So these changes can result from natural process or human activities impacting the balance and functioning of ecosystems. Human-induced alterations such as deforestation or pollution often lead to biodiversity loss, disrupting ecological relationships and potentially causing long-term consequences. Second is overexploitation on biodiversity. Overhunting, overfishing, or overcollecting of species can quickly lead to its decline. Changing consumption pattern of human is often cited as the key reason for this unsustainable exploitation of natural resources. So, overexploitation can lead to change or instability in biodiversity when human activities exceed the natural capacity of ecosystems to regenerate. Overexploitation of specific for resources, such as overfishing or excessive hunting, can also lead to significant declines in their populations. Next is pollution and contamination. Pollution and contamination are pervasive environmental issues that pose significant threat to ecosystems, human health, and overall well-being of the planet. When we say pollution, this refers to the harmful substances or contaminant into the environment leading to adverse effects. This can take various forms such as air pollution from industrial emission, water pollution from chemical runoff, and soil pollution from improper waste disposal. So, the contamination naman is, on the other hand, this involves the presence of impurities or pollutants is a substance making it unfit for its intended use. For example, the food contamination can result from pesticides or toxin rendering the hazardous to consume. Last is climate change. Global climate change refers to the long-term alteration in temperature, precipitation, and other atmospheric conditions on Earth. One of the reasons of climate change is the human activities, primarily the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation, contribute to increase the greenhouse gases, leading to a global warming. This warming in turn causes various climate-related change such as frequent and severe heat waves, storms, and shift in precipitation patterns. So we have to adopt or adjust our practices, infrastructure, and policies to cope with the challenges posed by changing climate to ensure the long-term sustainability of ecosystem and human societies.
So, biodiversity and human health. Healthy communities rely on well-functioned ecosystem. They provide clean air, fresh water, medicines, and food security. Ang biodiversity ay gumaganap sa isang kritikal na papel para sa kalusugan at kailangan ng tao. At syempre, kaunlaran ng ekonomiya, kaligtasan at seguridad sa pagkain. At iba pang mahalagang lugar na kinakailangan para sa individual at kolektibong kasaganahan ng panlipunang tao. So, we have 5 reasons why biodiversity matters to a human health, the economy, and your well-being. So, number 1, we have biodiversity ensures health and food security. So, what do you mean by this? So, biodiversity underpins global nutrition and food security, and the million of species work together to provide us with a large array of fruits, vegetable, and animal products essential to a healthy, balanced diet. So, tinitiyak nito at pinapanatili nito ang produktibidad ng mga lupa at nagbibigay ng genetic resources para sa lahat ng pananim, hayop at marine species na inaani para sa pagkain. So, number 2, we have biodiversity help fight disease. So, higher rates of biodiversity have been linked to an increase in human health. First, plants are essential for medicine. For example, 25% of drugs used in modern medicine are derived from rainforest plants, while 70% of cancer drugs are natural or synthetic product inspired by nature. So number 3, we have biodiversity benefits business. So ang biodiversity ay nakalink sa productivity at resilience ng ecosystem. Kaya ang anumang pagkawala ng biodiversity ay maaaring maapektuhan sa supply ng mga produkto tulad ng troso, pagkain, halaman para sa gamot, at iba pang panghilaw na materyales.
Biodiversity and human health. Number 4. Biodiversity provides livelihoods. Humans derive approximately $125 trillion of value from natural ecosystem each year. Globally, 3 out of 4 jobs are dependent on water, while the agricultural sector employs over 60% of the world's working poor. In the global south, forests are the source of livelihoods for over 1.6 billion people. In India, forest ecosystem contribute only 7% to India's GDP, yet 57% of rural Indian communities' livelihoods. So, biodiversity is like a job creator for people around the world. Imagine it is nature giving us to make a living. Many jobs like farming and working with water depend on the variety of plants and animals in our environment. For example, in some places, forest provides jobs for a lot of people, helping them support their families, even though these natural jobs might not always make a country super rich. They are crucial for many communities, so when we take care of nature's diversity, we're not just helping the environment, we're also ensuring that people have the means to live and work. Number 5. Biodiversity protects us. Biodiversity makes the earth habitable. Biodiverse ecosystems provide nature-based solutions that buffer us from natural disasters such as floods and storms, filter out our water, and regenerate our soils. The clearance of over 35% of the world's mangroves for human activities has increasingly put people and their homes at risk from floods and sea level rise. If today's mangroves were lost, 80 million more people would be flooded every year. An increase of 39% and annual damages to property would increase by 16%, $82 billion. Protecting and restoring natural ecosystems is vital to fighting climate change. Nature-based solutions could provide 37% of the cost-effective CO2 mitigation. needed by 2030 to maintain global warming within 2 Celsius. So when we say biodiversity is like Earth's bodyguard, keeping us safe in several ways. Imagine it as nature's defense system. Diverse ecosystems like forests and mangroves act like shields against floods and storms. For example, if we lost mangroves, more people could face flooding, and the property would go up. Keeping these natural defenses intact is essential for protecting our homes. Also, this ecosystem plays a superhero role in fighting climate change. By taking care of them, we can reduce the amount of harmful CO2 in the air, helping to keep the planet from getting too hot. So, biodiversity not only makes Earth a nice place to live, but also work hard to keep us out of trouble. Biodiversity and health. Changes in biodiversity will expose human beings to different kinds of diseases. When the variety of plants, animals, and microorganisms in nature changes, it can bring new diseases that affect people. Imagine it like a puzzle if some pieces are missing or changed. It can cause problems for everyone. Scientists found that when we lose different species, it can lead to health issues for humans, like feeling sad, heart problems, or even diseases like cancer and malaria. It's like a chain reaction. Messing with nature can impact our well being in unexpected ways. So, keeping the Earth's biodiversity intact is not just a good for animals and plants, it's crucial for keeping us healthy and happy.
That's it for today's video. I hope you learned something and thank you for listening. Bye!